Guys, welcome back to Lovercast Live, the only podcast I record live in my Discord every single week with other YouTubers. Today we're joined with a guy who helped me get to 8th place in Minecraft Sundays, probably one of the most talented Minecraft YouTubers I've ever seen. I've known him my entire life. We grew up together back in rural Ohio. This is Purpled. I've just met him, by the way. Purpled, welcome to the show, dude. You're 16 years old. You have almost 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. You guys should go subscribe to him now so he gets that play button. How did you get your start on YouTube and get to the point where you're a 16-year-old with 100,000 followers?
So I started, well, actually, let me start from the very beginning. So probably like most kids, I made a couple of YouTube channels when I was like really young that
We've all been there.
Weren't exactly of the greatest quality. But fast forwarding past that, I started playing Bed Wars when it came out in, I think it was really late June of 2017. And just from the start, I already had some experience with Minecraft, so I just played that. And within a couple months, I actually got on the leaderboard for that.
Wow.
And with that came a little bit of notoriety, just among Bed Wars, you know, nothing crazy. And then one day I was in a Bed Wars game, came across a streamer, and then after the game, I went and checked him out. And it seemed like it was a pretty fun life, you know, just streaming some Bed Wars. He wasn't.
It's pretty good, right?
He had like 200 subscribers maybe, but for me that was just really awesome that I played with the guy and I got to know him. So I talked to him for like a month, maybe 2 months, and then I was like, you know, why not try myself? So I just started off streaming Bed Wars, just really short, like maybe 1 hour streams. So that was, I think my first video and stream was February of 2018. So it's been
wow, dude.
A little less than 2 years.
That's great. That's great progress. And I think for a lot of people, starting younger is like what it takes to be huge, like Mr. Beast age, right? Like he started when he was like 12 or something and did it every year and had multiple channels that no one knew about. So starting young is what it takes. And I wish that I kept with it when I started younger. And then who knows where I'd be, because like I quit for like 6 years when I started younger. But that's awesome. Now, my biggest question for you is when I did YouTube videos, I started in college and I was embarrassed. I didn't want my friends to know because I thought my videos sucked. So do your friends know? And is it weird, like in high school or whatever, when people like see you as like a YouTuber? Like, what is that like?
Yeah, so how that works is I tried my very best to keep it quiet for the longest time. But I think it was November of that same year that I started. So November, end of the semester of 2018. So I was in a computer class, and the computer's firewall wasn't great, so there were a lot of websites that were unblocked. For example, Discord. So there's Discord, and my friend tried to add me on Discord, but he noticed I had friend request off at the time, which made him go full detective mode and suspect, wait a second, if you have friend request off, who else would have friend request off other than a public figure? So then he looked up my Discord name.
Oh, man.
And he found my channel.
He didn't.
Yeah, so at that point in time, I was maybe 1,700 subscribers, 1,600, somewhere around there.
That's awkward. That's the awkward stage right there, man.
It was like the point in time where it's like, it wasn't like a really small hobby, but it also wasn't like huge, because it was obvious that I was committed to it, but it wasn't like I didn't have insane numbers or anything to show for it. So it was like a really awkward time. But luckily, he's a cool guy. He's a friend of mine. He just told some people in the class, and it was a kind of awkward day. But from there, for the next couple months, pretty much it was kept quiet.
So are you cool now? Like, do people know it? And you're like, whoa, this dude has 100,000. Like, is that a cool thing to have in high school? Because back when I was in high school, I mean, YouTube was a thing. There were YouTubers. That was like when Markiplier was like just starting out. Like, it wasn't what it is today. So how has it changed? Like, if you're a YouTuber, are you a cool person or are you like a weirdo?
So basically a couple months later, I don't know who spilled the beans, but eventually like a couple months after that, people slowly started finding out. I never really told anyone specifically, and people just all kind of told each other. And now it's come to the point where at the beginning of this year, that's when really everyone knew. People definitely talked about it a lot. They called me Purpled more than they called me Grayson. So it was definitely kind of uncomfortable. And I still think it is kind of uncomfortable, but no one's really made fun of me for it. It's just, even though they're super nice and supportive, it is just kind of awkward.
Oh, yeah, no, I feel that. Like, I didn't tell anyone I worked with, partly because I didn't want them to know I was trying to leave their company, but also because it's just like weird. Like, for some reason, it's weird. Like, when people that don't get it, like, find out, you're like, oh, here we go. Now I got to explain. Like, I'm getting my hair cut the other day, and the dude's like, hey, man, what do you do? And I'm like, I make YouTube videos of Minecraft. Like, That sounds so stupid, but like it's actually
Yeah.
really a lot of work, and it's I don't know, it's so awkward sometimes.
It's such an unknown subject, and it brings so many questions to the table, like, oh, what is that like? How does that work? And then, because a lot of people aren't super educated on the subject, which, isn't their fault. It's just not a very, like, popular career path.
No, absolutely not. So is
so
that
yeah,
your
just
plan
kind of-
after high school? Do you plan to go to college, or do you plan to pursue this YouTube dream of yours?
As of now, I'd say college. Just maybe at very most, I'd take like a gap year if my channel's really like blowing up in
Sure.
2 years when I graduate.
Which it
But
could,
for
it
now-
could.
Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen on YouTube. YouTube is really weird with how it recommends channels and stuff. So
What I will say, my advice, even though you didn't ask, is if you do start making good money and you're at the point where you're like, oh, this could be a job, just do it. Take that gap year, whatever, because otherwise you'll be like me, where you get $120,000 of debt for a degree that you're most likely never going to use. Now, I'm not going to say it was worthless, like the lessons I've learned along the way or how I've been able to build a business out of this, but those lessons aren't worth over six figures, right? So that's what I would do. But that's so cool, man. I'm so happy for you.
yeah. So if I have a quick question, so what text channel should I be looking at for like everyone in this call? Is it just general?
Well, I haven't quite asked them yet, but I'll go ahead and do it now, guys. If you want to ask, if you want to ask any questions here for this podcast, there's a channel called The Lobby in this area called The Studio, called The Lobby. Ask your questions there. Ocean Sky has most recently said, oh, the purple dude in there. If you have any questions for him or me, post them there. We'll get those answered on this podcast today in the lobby.
Okay. Okay.
There we go.
Cool.
People are writing now. Now lots of questions will start pouring in. I usually wait a little bit because if I say it at the beginning, we get too many questions and then I can't read them all.
Yeah, sorry. I just didn't know if there's somewhere I was supposed to be looking for like feedback on what I'm saying and stuff.
People will give you feedback and they'll be like, this is stupid. I don't like this. Next. We're done here. Okay, so let's see. Let's go with any advice for beginners. What would you tell people that just started their YouTube channel? That comes from Ariel NB21.
So yeah, I get questions like this a lot because I do stream a decent amount, and that's a pretty common question in stream chat. There's someone coming down the stairs. 1 second.
Punch him in the face.
Let me
Guys,
mute
he
my
lives at
microphone
home.
just
That's
to
his mom.
make sure.
Mom's bringing dinner. Din din. Din din's ready, hun. Coming down. All right. While he's checking that, I'll answer a quick question. Can I carry your baby's lover fella? I'm going to give you a real hard no on that one. Pretty much like next level no. I don't think I could, like if there's a word more than no, that would be the word that I would use.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey,
Sorry.
welcome back.
Hey. So yeah, like I was saying, because I do stream, I get a question like that a lot. So I kind of simplified it down to a couple main points, and that is obviously this should come as a given, but some people don't think of it. It's just do what you love. Don't worry about like following trends or anything. Just do what you enjoy doing, because you should never start off thinking I'm only doing it for numbers. I'm doing it to become famous, because
True.
99% of the time that's not how big YouTubers are made. You hear all these big YouTubers saying like, I never expected myself, or I just started off as a small hobby when I was a kid. So yeah, just do what you want. And then second is don't try to like imitate other people's videos. I know a lot of people that kind of
Copy
I wouldn't say
everything.
like straight up copy,
Morgs.
but yeah, well that's a copy. Not too many copies, but some people just kind of like mirror the style of someone in like whether it be editing style, how they like talk in their videos, their types of videos. Just try to make your own name, because you don't want to be known as a guy that's like the other guy but slightly worse. You want to be your own person.
Absolutely. There's only one of you and you need to capitalize on that. So if you're a weird person, then be a weird person and people will love it. Like that is what makes you different, is being weird or being yourself. And it's so hard to learn. It's so hard to do that, because you're like, well, this guy's got 10 million subs. I want to be him. But like, you don't want to be him because there's already is a him. You got to be yourself.
Yeah,
or you're not going to get anywhere.
exactly.
Absolutely.
And then I think that was up to a third point now. So the third point, probably the final like major capitalizing point, would be even though it might be hard early on, try your best to be consistent, whether that's once a week, twice a week, once a month, just as long as it's not like super erratic. You want to start like establishing something for your fans to rely on. Something that they can know, oh, he's going to upload sometime, not just upload like a couple times and not for 2 months, then upload twice in a week.
Absolutely.
Which kind of goes into my fourth point. I kind of forgot about this fourth and final point, is to interact with your community, like get to know them, especially when you're a smaller YouTuber, because as hard as it is, or as much as I'd like to really get to know everyone, it's impossible at this point in time. And you really want to be able to capitalize off of when you're small. You can really get to know
Oh
almost
yeah.
every active viewer of your channel, and it's amazing.
I still have people like that were my first couple hundred that I still talk to this day. He's not in this chat right now, but there's a couple that I remember that that's been watching me for years, and it's you never forget.
Yeah, like those are, if you want to start interacting with them, but you're already starting to get like a large audience, it's impossible to go back. So just from the start, like I'd say either make a Twitter that you are yourself on, or have a Discord or something where you can actually talk with people and get to know them. And then don't just kind of do your own thing. I mean, do your own thing, but also ask them, like, what do you guys want to see? You know, have polls, have people give you feedback on your video. Don't just, as much as you need to do what you need to do, also constructive criticism is always a plus no matter what you're doing in life. So
oh yeah, that's the only way to grow. You have to get that hard feedback all the time.
yeah,
that's awesome, dude. Sounds like you're on the right track, and it also sounds like you stream a lot, more than you make videos, I'm assuming.
I used to stream significantly more than I made videos. I've started to tone it down some recently, and I did just come off like a 10-day hiatus of YouTube with Minecraft Saturdays. So I'll have to get back into the rhythm of things. That
was a lot of work.
Yeah, it's usually about a 1-to-1 ratio, maybe like 2 to 3, slightly more videos.
Okay. So what is it like recording videos at home? I know you're 16 years old. You live at home with your parents. Is it weird? Like, do they ever interrupt your recordings? Like, hey, go do the dishes right now. And you're like, Mom, I'm recording. Like, what is that environment like? Because I got to assume it happens.
So how that works is mostly, well, my setup until just like 2 months ago was up in my room. And what I did mostly is I just texted my mom or told her before anything happened, whether it be like an event, a recording, a stream, anything. And then for the most part, because there's only 3 people in our house, and now 2 people in our house, just me and my mom, now that one of my brothers went off to college, she pretty much, now that she knows I'm a larger, more established channel, she respects pretty much anything I do on here, which is awesome. She like just doesn't really question it. If I tell her like I really need to be on right now, unless it's like obviously a family emergency or anything going on, you know, she completely respects it, which is awesome. Yeah,
very cool, man. That's what you need.
A lot better of a situation than a lot of people are in. So.
Now let's talk money. Now you're not making an insane amount of money at 90,000 subs, but you are making, you know, good money, especially for a 16-year-old, probably more than most, if not almost every 16-year-old out there. You're going to be making probably more than minimum wage in most of the jobs you'd find. So do your friends like expect you to buy everything? Are you the kid that always buys everyone's ice cream, or you just kind of keep it on the DL and you're like, nah, boys, nah, not today?
Yeah, because I don't really like flaunt my channel that much. Most people don't really worry about it. They do know, or they do, I'm assuming they think that I have a decent amount of money for a 16-year-old, but I don't go out and do like tons of crazy things with friends, like typically anyways. So
save it till college, then you go all out.
Yeah. So people don't really expect me to do tons of stuff, but every now and then, you know, I'll like lend someone, quote lend, just give someone like $5 if they need like entry to a basketball game or something like that.
That's insane.
So it's nice to be able to do stuff like that. But other than that, I mostly just kind of keep everything to myself unless someone needs it for something. Like one time someone said like, you know, I really need to pay someone back, but I don't have it on me right now. I'm like, yeah, here you go, take it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. So, yeah.
Ocean Sky asks, if you went to college, what would your major be?
So I am at the point in high school where I'm just starting to take electives that are more specialized. So I'm not entirely sure what I like doing. Well, I know what I like doing, but like doing as work, something I'd be able to do every day, and that's an actual job. Obviously, I mean, YouTube is I like doing, but as for like an actual major for a job, I have really had a fun time in computer programming. It's right now it's very basic.
I knew you were going to go there, and I don't know why. I just figured, I was like, this dude's going to be a computer programmer. I could just tell. That's awesome.
Yeah,
lots of money in that, and it's a lot really enjoyable. A lot of people say. A lot of my friends are programmers at like Google and Microsoft, and they love it.
It's I've just always liked puzzles and stuff, like solving things. And if you think about it, computer programming is really just one big puzzle. If you think of, for example, I want to make a game of tic-tac-toe, then you just kind of put in all the pieces until you have like your solution to the puzzle. There's never just one solution. It's always just figuring it out till it's your solution, which is really, really awesome. And it's really nice. And also around here, I live in Virginia, so up right up north is like Richmond and Washington D.C. and Northern Virginia, which is like really big for like computer jobs. Apparently, that's always an opportunity.
Yeah, so, always got to have a backup plan if YouTube doesn't work out, but it will as long as COPPA doesn't get you. I talked to a lawyer today about it. I actually did, and he said that he met with YouTube recently, and YouTube says they don't even know what the COPPA regulations are going to require. So he's like, we can't even help you because we don't even know like what's going to go on. He's like, I think you're safe. I think you're a mixed channel. Most of your audience is older, which is true, but man, that's scary. Let me ask you another question here. Not about YouTube, but about our age difference. You're probably the first person that I've legitimately spoken to with a serious conversation under the age of 20 in as long as I can remember, like since college. I don't know. So you're in high school now. I assume things have changed. I'm 24, you're 16. It's like 10, almost a decade of difference. What are the trends in school right now? Like, what is going on? I know there's Visco girls. I'm super into the Visco community. And I oop. What else we got going on there?
So unfortunately, a very large thing right now is like vaping and juuling.
Oh, really? No one smoked when I was in school. No one. Nothing.
There's been a major resurgence lately because of just like, you know, like they have like all this flavored stuff.
Well, so like in the bathrooms, they smoke Juuls?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
People just go to the bathrooms and they're gone for like 10 minutes. And sometimes you walk into a bathroom, it's like a hot box. Just you're hit with this like fruity blast of like everything. It's
I couldn't
really
imagine.
Weird. Like sometimes I'm just trying to go to the bathroom, you know. I'm having a hard time in math class. And I just really need a break. And I go in there, there's like 10 guys staring at me with like vapes in their hands.
Oh my gosh. Like I was in this weird thing where like there were cigarettes, then they became really uncool and like no one smoked anything. And then I got to college and suddenly everyone's like smoking electronic Juuls and I'm like, what the heck is going on? That is so interesting. What else we got? Anything else weird? Any weird, like how does social media impact life in high school now? Are there like, is your popularity based on how many followers you have? I'm really curious about this stuff now.
It's not as big as like big media and like stereotypes make it out to be. Like people don't just look at you as a number or anything. But especially just people always walk around with like earbuds, AirPods, and like on their phones pretty much everywhere, walking down the hallway, on the bus. Like I remember in elementary school and middle school, on the bus it was always like a really social place. You talk with everyone, and now it's just kind of quiet. Like everyone's on their phones except for like some people that are just talking or like the kids at the back of the bus, you know, like being all loud and stuff.
Dude, that's weird to imagine. Like I think even like phones were just starting to come into play when I was in like maybe middle school, early high school, but like not everyone had them. Like it wasn't unusual for like half the class to not have it or even more until maybe I was a senior and probably a college. College for me was about when I was like, okay, I need to get a phone. That was like 2013. But like, that's so weird. Like I couldn't even imagine like people in their phones all the time. Do you guys get in trouble for using them in your classes?
So this year at my school, they've implemented a rule that they haven't really stuck to very well, but basically like the teachers put these like pouches of like 24 slots on the door, and like at the start of the class you have to put your phone into your pouch or something like that.
Oh my gosh, it's become
a huge problem at my school because my school isn't really like in a super high end like area, so there's a lot of people that are just kind of like disobedient and stuff.
Yo, that is so weird to picture. Wow.
Yeah, so they've had to enforce it, which they haven't really done crazy. Like if I think of my classes, one class is actually enforces it where it either has to be in there or in your backpack, and if they see it at all they'll like take it away or whatever. Yeah, taking phones is a huge thing.
Dang, dude.
Most classes are just kind of like don't be on it that much. If you're on it, as long as you're like still doing what you're supposed to, you can do it. And then like some classes they can say like, oh, while you're doing your work you can listen to music or whatever, so people get out their phones and like their earbuds or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, phones have become a really large part of schools.
How does the AirPod thing work? Like you got a kid with AirPods, like are they bullying the non-AirPod users? Like this is how I'm imagining it.
You cut out after you said AirPods.
Are the kids with AirPods bullying the non-AirPod kids?
So maybe at the very beginning people looked at people with AirPods as just like stuck up, kind of stereotypically, mostly joking, but some people did look at it as like, oh yeah, look at that kid, he has AirPods. But now that they just become like so popular, like it's come to the point where like pretty much everyone has, well, not everyone, but a lot of people have them, so that no one really minds anymore.
That's awesome.
It doesn't really matter.
Dang, dude. Well, that's cool. It sounds like it's not falling apart into chaos. Like I somehow feel like it sounds in the media. So hey, that's good to know.
Media does seem to distort things.
Well, okay, so we got a question from Mystic. He says to Purple, I'm pretty young, so I'm wondering what you would say is the best time to start. And Mystic, I'm assuming by young you mean 13 or older.
Yes.
Kappa.
So the right time to start, there's not really a right age to start, I'd say. Just as long as, like, if you just have an audience or you have people that like what you do and you like what you do, it doesn't really matter how old you are. I would recommend to be old enough to, like, know how to stay safe online, definitely, because if you do start getting an audience, you do need to make sure you don't, like, people don't try to, like, trick you and do anything crazy with that. And also just, you know, obviously know how to use, like, all the computer stuff to be able to actually, like, stream without accidentally giving away, like, your address or something like that.
Right. Your address, your social security number, your credit
basically
card.
Just be, like, proficient with computers and stuff. And as long as you're, like, mature and can deal with some situations that YouTubers might need, like, you shouldn't start, like, cussing out a fan or something like that because they're mean to you, you know?
Yeah, you gotta have thick skin. People will tell me to kill myself daily. People wish cancer upon me daily. People say the most disgusting things daily. I mean, literally every hour. If I read those comments, I would be like, I would lose my mind. It's just, you gotta know what words to block, and then you never see those comments.
Yeah, you definitely have to have a thick skin as a YouTuber and just deal with situations you wouldn't think you'd have to deal with. Like, since I own a Discord server that has, like, 5,000 members in it, you know, there's gonna be a lot of, it's almost like a legal system where you have to, like, determine cases and, like, see, like, if someone's deserving of a punishment. And it's just crazy, and you don't think about these things when you start YouTube, but if you do think, like, you really want to do YouTube, you do need to think, like, okay, I do need to figure out how to do that stuff at some point.
And I do just want to shout out the best admin team ever in this Discord. I know some of them are listening today. I have a group of people that help me manage cases like that and here, and it's a lot of work. Some days it's insane, so... yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I used to do all of it myself. I have people helping now, but there's a lot. Discord can be crazy. A lot of stuff happens.
Excuse me.
So one question someone asked, and I mixed the name, was, what is your social life like? You're balancing homework, maybe sports, you're balancing YouTube. What exactly is your social, is it hard? Do you have a social life? What's it like?
So I don't have any sports going on right now. I used to run cross country in middle school where that ended. I do have tennis in the spring, so I don't have to worry about that right now. But mostly it's just I come home, I do anything I need to do on the computer.
Grab a Pop-Tart.
Homework. Yeah, just grab food. I've never really been one to, like, go out and hang out with friends a lot. I have always kind of been, like, a computer nerd per se.
Sure.
So it hasn't really sacrificed too much. It is kind of, like, upsetting that sometimes I do have to prioritize YouTube over, like, doing certain things. Like, sometimes I just want to have, like, a chill weekend, but I'm like, well, I do need to
dude, I know.
work on this video. And
do you know Jim Rohn? Have you heard of Jim Rohn?
I don't think so.
He's basically he's just like a really famous speaker. He's a business advisor. He's got a lot of great advice. One thing he always says is always take a day off each week, but only take a day off each week. He's like, you need to take at least one day off every week to do absolutely nothing, but you need to only do it once a week. Like work the other days, but that one day is where you refresh for the week. And I just recently started doing that, and for me, it's been huge. Like every Sunday, I do nothing, and it feels so wrong, dude. Like I literally have not taken a day off in months, maybe even years. Like can't remember my last like legit vacation. It's been a while. And so I take that one day off, and I come back, and I'm like, oh yes, I got the energy. So don't ever let it consume you. Definitely take that day off.
Yeah, I've definitely, whenever I like stop doing stuff, even just for like a couple hours, I don't do anything and I just tell myself to relax. It just feels so wrong because like my YouTube brain is telling me like, well, if you're doing nothing, you could be, working on that video you just recorded or doing this or doing that. It's so like counterintuitive almost, when for most people it just makes sense. Like most people would think like, obviously you'd relax. Like if you're really tired, just relax. But as a YouTuber, it's like,
it's hard.
It's almost as hard to relax. It's harder to relax than it is to keep going, honestly. Sometimes.
Because someone will always outwork you, and you know that. You're sitting on the couch, and there's 300,000 other people that want to be here just as bad as you, and they're putting in the work, and you're like, oh, I got to do it. Like today, this is probably not healthy at all. It's 5 p.m. where I'm at in Pennsylvania, and I haven't even eaten today. I haven't even stepped out of my room. I worked out, but I've been working since 7 a.m. all day, meetings and recordings and all this stuff, now the podcast, and I'm like, this is crazy. But it's worth it in the end, I think. But it's like people don't realize there's so much stuff you got to do.
It's insane. Like you think just starting off, you know, even if from earlier, the people that saying like, you know, how old should you start off? When you start off, then you almost don't know what you're signing up for until like it hits you. Until you start slowly getting like, I don't want to say consumed because YouTube isn't like bad. It isn't like inherently evil or anything, but
I'll say consumed.
Get you to work.
Yeah, no.
Work a lot.
When I started, I remember thinking, I just want to play video games for a living. It'll be so cool. And I didn't realize, you know, I'm meeting with lawyers and I'm meeting with freaking, you know, CPAs and accountants and setting up a business and managing actual employees and all this stuff. And I'm like, I love it. Fortunately, I love that stuff and I love the business side of it. But I had no idea that even existed when I went into it at first. I you know, how would you know? No one talks about it.
Yeah, exactly. You just see someone like, oh, maybe they just play video games and then they make all this money. You know, what's not to love?
Yeah, right.
But you still need to realize, even if it is like a fun like job, it's still a job. You still have to do things that you wouldn't necessarily want to do otherwise. You don't want to put in like all of this work. I
like to keep that illusion up too. Like some people ask me, like friends or like people that I just kind of know, and they're like, "Oh, you do YouTube? That's so cool." And I'm just like, "Yeah, it's easy. It's whatever." Like I try to keep it super chill because I don't want to be like, I put in 15 hours of work every day of the week. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. I love it. It's fine. That's awesome. So, dude, we met in Minecraft Saturdays. I don't know if we're gonna be on a team again or not. I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but I do hope we end up meeting again on the teams because you were an awesome partner and we deserve that dub.
That was a lot of fun. That was a very emotional experience with the whole like comeback.
Oh, dude, I know. I was dreaming about that too. I was like, we could have done it, and oh, it was so close. If you guys haven't seen it yet, the live stream's up with us on my channel, and it was so cool. All right, dude, I'm gonna hit you with one last question for today's podcast because I am ravenously hungry right now.
Sounds
my
good.
question is, well, let's get a minute. Get some questions in the chat, guys. Who wants the last one?
And also, don't spam, by the way. Just
yeah, there's a lot of it. Yeah. Biscuit wants it, but he didn't even ask anything. Several people typing. Let's see. Okay, now it's too quick and I can't even read it. All right, how about this last question? Where can the people find you?
Where can the people find me online? Like my medias and stuff?
Your address, I mean.
So this is just like a plug.
Plug it, dude. Plug everything you want to plug.
So YouTube is just purpled, you know, purple with a D at the end.
Get him to 100,000, guys. Go subscribe to him right now. He deserves 100,000.
Thank you. Twitter is at Burpled with a B at the beginning because Purpled was taken, and I've tried to message the guy a lot, but he just doesn't respond. I just want the tag.
Hey, someone on Twitter stole mine too. I got Loverfella TV on Twitter because someone stole Loverfella. It's like an Indian dude like 6 years ago. He doesn't even use it. I was like, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, there's so many accounts that they don't use it.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then I guess my second channel, which I rarely use, but might as well check it out, see if you like the stuff I do have on there. It's just Burpled, same as my Twitter.
Burpled, same as his Twitter. All right, guys, go follow this man. He's awesome. He's young. He's got a bright future ahead of him. He's going to become a massive Minecraft YouTuber and take me to first place in Minecraft Saturdays. Purple, thank you so much for coming to today's podcast.
Yeah,
I honestly look forward to seeing you grow, dude. It's awesome talking to you. Good luck with your jewels and your Visco girls, dude.
All right, thanks, man.
All right. I'll talk to you later. If you guys want to listen to this podcast, you can subscribe by going to Lovercast on YouTube or just searching Lovercast on any podcast app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, whatever you use. It'll notify you each week when I release a podcast. So if you don't get it live, you get to listen when you're driving. How fun. Guys, go subscribe there. I need some more podcast followers. As always, lick that screen. Spread the love. Peace.